wormholes, particle physics, extra dimensions. Are the wonders of so-called reality really what they appear to be? Or do we exist in an elaborate hologram? Is our universe the result of random activity or the result of intelligent design? If a creator was involved, can we discover him through our perception of divine order? This is Into the Multiverse with Josh Peck.
Can dreams truly become a reality? Also, what do we do when we're attacked publicly, even demonically? That and more will be the topic of today's show. We have some very special guests for you. Actually, just starting right to my left, co-hosting for the first time, co-hosting and sitting in for Christina Peck. This is not my wife, Christina Peck. Not at all.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Well, I did it to Derek Gilbert on Sci Friday, so we're just bringing her around again.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no
It's
problem.
an honor.
This is Jake Rahutsky. I didn't mention your name. Jake Rahutsky, our very own. He does film editing, but he's also a fantastic researcher. He's got a lot of cool stuff on secret societies. He's had a few experiences of his own that at some point we'll do episodes on, which will be really cool. Then we also have Mike and Jeannie Kerr of Hear the Watchman Conference. What an absolute pleasure it is to have you two in studio with us today. How are you doing?
We're doing great. We're so glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Josh. We're blessed to be here.
Well, the blessing is all ours, and we're happy that you're here. It's an honor for us, and we've been in contact for the past couple months preparing for this conference and everything. But this is the first time that we got to meet in person, so this is a treat for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, I want to jump right into this. For those who might not be familiar, what is Hear the Watchman Conference? What is it? What makes it different than other conferences? What's it all about?
You want to go ahead?
Well, Hear the Watchman is unique in two senses. Number one, it is a combination of knowledge and education with an amazing lineup of speakers, but it's also an opportunity to absolutely work through all your fears, concerns, have a breakthrough. It's church, it's worship, and it's an intensive weekend to bring you closer in your walk with Jesus Christ. That's what it is.
Awesome. That's awesome. I like how you said that it's church and fellowship and things like that. That's what makes conferences like this for me so exciting. I love getting to meet my audience. And actually, Jake Rahutsky is going to be a part of this conference too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to come, guys. This is the first conference I'm actually going to be speaking at, so I'm really excited to be with you guys. It's going to be amazing. And the whole idea of fellowship with other believers outside the four walls of the church. Really, what the Bible calls us to do is to fellowship with the saints. It never really said to go to the four walls. I'm not saying that's wrong, but there's a lot of people that are disenfranchised with the modern church right now. A lot of people have been hurt, injured, things like that. And so this is an opportunity to connect with people and to talk about issues and topics that, let's face it, guys, the mainstream church will not touch with a 10-foot pole. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's the whole point of Hear the Watchman, is to come out. You know, we encourage you to get there. You know, we really do, folks. We encourage you to get to the conference, come there in person, so you can sit down and talk with Josh and Jake and Derek and Sharon and all the other speakers, you know, Pastor Paul Begley.
Yeah.
Sit down and speak with him, L.A. Marzulli. It's just the list goes on and on and on. You know, we were just so blessed. Last week, we made a big announcement that Pastor Carl Gallups will be there, and he's a fantastic guy. And his mission is just the mission of Hear the Watchman. Mm-hmm. You know, and we're just really blessed. And when you are at the conferences in person, and you have that fellowship time, it is life-changing. It's like nothing else. You know, we will be streaming the conference for people who just physically can't make it.
Right.
Derek was telling me about somebody who lives in Norway, I think it is, and just can't make it there.
Right.
And has watched on live stream in our past conferences. We'll do that again. Watch our website, hearthewatchman.com, right around March to March 1st to see how that option will fall.
So let me ask you guys, and either one of you guys can take this, but what do you feel, what was the most dramatic thing that you guys came across as a result of getting involved with these conferences and starting it? The topic that you feel was like the most dramatic that kind of blew your mind that the mainstream doesn't touch. Let's talk about that real quick.
Well, I would say prophecy, learning about our history, the true history, and understanding how we are in the end times and how, research is being exposed.
Yeah.
I mean, what blew my mind, I think, was Russ Disdar's work.
Yes.
He does deliverance work.
Right.
And most people won't touch it. And that man is so brave and so incredibly gifted. And it was a little bit intimidating to me. But once I loosened up and understood that what he's doing is he is literally freeing people from a demonic attachment. You know, you could sin, and a demon, a spiritual entity could literally be attached to you, and you're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
And you're doing things that are encouraging this demon, are feeding this demon. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you are aware of that realm, it's life-changing. And if you learn to put on the full armor of God, then God protects you from all of that. So that I'd say is the number one. The number two, of course, is what I said earlier, is understanding the world as we see it versus the truth, and how this new world order is forming and trying to destroy God's people, trying to literally kill off humanity. Because Satan hates humanity. He's jealous of humanity. And so really understanding that and how it manifests. And then also, I would say the third thing that is mind-blowing is how people walk away just changed. Their health, their spiritual well-being, their boldness to speak the gospel, to speak to their friends and family, and appreciating if they are being ostracized from their family, which is biblical. Families will separate during these times. They can actually accept it and pray for their other family members rather than living in fear and quitting.
Yeah.
And so those three things I think were the most powerful and unique things about the remnant body of Christ and what the knowledge that we're supposed to gain.
So you mentioned earlier prophecy.
Yes.
Prophetic events, end times. And
yes.
we discussed with you guys earlier off air some of the events that kind of led you guys to where you're at today, some prophetic things, a prophetic dream. Tell us a little bit about the story. And what I'd like you to do too is tell us kind of where you were at while Mike was, I guess we call it waking up, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing came about, we went to a conference in Bozeman, Montana called the Whitestone Remnant. And I actually, folks, I'm being completely honest with you, I went to go fishing because I love to fish. And Bozeman, Montana hosts some of the best trout fishing in the country. And
can't blame you for that. I'm from Michigan, so I love fishing too.
Okay, yeah. So Jeannie, I figured when I looked at the schedule, this is perfect because Jeannie goes early in the morning. I think they started their sessions at 9 in the morning and ran them till 10 o'clock at night. I could be gone all day in the woods fishing, and it wouldn't bother her at all. But when I got there, I ran into this man that was, he was kind of needed some help setting his table up. And I helped him put his table up. And then I sat there and listened to him talk to all of his fans and people that followed him. And that was Steve Quayle.
Oh, wow.
And it was a wonderful experience
Yeah.
to sit there and listen to him, talk about his books and talk to other people. But I also went and heard all the other speakers. And then I actually was baptized at that conference. And it was life-changing for me, And leading up to that, Jeannie was in with both feet, and I was only in with one toe.
Yeah.
When I came back from Whitestone, I was in with both feet.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons that we do these conferences now is because that had such an impact on me personally.
Yeah.
Then you had the dream.
Then I had a dream, but before we get to the dream, when you were asking Jeannie about, what are the top events, I'll tell you the top events for me. I see people come to hear the Watchman that are coming into that room really they're almost hopeless. I mean, they're out on their own there somewhere in the Midwest or who knows where they are. They don't have anybody they can talk to about the way they feel.
Yeah.
And when they leave the conference, they're filled with hope because they've met all these people that believe the same things and that love Jesus, that understand what's going on in the world, and that's why it's so important. But the dream was, and that's what really kicked off Here the Watchman. I had a very vivid dream one night about a 2-story hotel. It was called the Riverside. It was clear to me that there was a pathway where people were riding bikes that went down by a river, and there was a giant chess set. And that was it. I was very vivid. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I told Jeannie, and she's like, wow. Well, Jeannie being Jeannie, and she's always researching. She's a much better researcher than I am. Gets on and starts researching Riverside Hotel, and she kept coming up to me with these hotels, and I said, no, that's not it. There were mountains and a stream. And so she started thinking, and she Googled Riverside Hotel, Idaho. And I'm not kidding you guys. It was the exact hotel that I had seen in my dream. I had never been there. I don't think I'd ever been to Boise, Idaho in my life, let alone set foot in that hotel.
And real quick, Mike, just to kind of let people understand how this is not random chance. First, you guys searched all over California, right?
California?
There's many Riverside hotels,
That's
correct?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we looked. There's a Riverside, in Laughlin, Nevada. They're all over. There's a Riverside, California. And there's hotels in Riverside, California. We just didn't know. And I'm telling you that when we did that, we ended up not doing one at that hotel yet. Okay. However, that was what kicked things off, and that is what truly led us to the point where we put everything else that in our lives aside and said, this is what God's calling us to do.
Wow.
And started doing these conferences.
Wow, that's fantastic. When we come back, I have a very special offer for you. But after that, we want to talk about what do we do as Christians when we're publicly attacked, even at conferences such as these? What are some of the troubles that Mike and Jeannie have come through from Here the Watchman? So all that and more right after this.
Some of the greatest prophetic mysteries of the Bible that the world has ever pondered have now been carefully explored, and the Skywatch TV store is bringing the exploration to you in the new Mysteries of the Bible Revealed special offer. In this special offer, you'll receive the new book by New York Times best-selling author Joel Richardson, Mystery Babylon. Richardson works through the history of the Christian interpretation of Mystery Babylon, weighing the strengths and weaknesses of each view, and then making a powerful case for a solution to this prophecy that will rock scholars around the world. You'll also receive The Mystery of the Shemitah from New York Times best-selling author Jonathan Cahn. This is a book you can't afford not to read. Cahn explores a possible 3,000-year-old mystery that may explain the timing of 9/11, the lies behind world wars, the collapse of nations, empires, and may hold the key to what lies ahead for the world and for your life. Plus, we'll also include in this special offer the unexplained mysteries of heaven and earth. Join author Ron Phillips as he combines his trademark theological balance with extensive historical research to travel through time to look at the flood, the Great Pyramid, the rapture, and much more. Altogether, this incredible offer holds an unprecedented retail value of over $50. Yours now for only $19.99 plus shipping and handling. So now you can explore the greatest prophetic mysteries of the Bible. Place your order for the Mysteries of the Bible Revealed special offer at skywatchtvstore.com now.
Welcome back to Into the Multiverse. If you haven't had a chance to do so, please subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the little subscribe button on the bottom corner of your screen, and then you'll have access to all past, present, and future episodes of Into the Multiverse, and also some exciting stuff that we have planned in the future. So make sure you subscribe, or you can watch us on Roku if you have Roku. All this information and more you can find at skywatchtv.com. All right, so right before the break, I mentioned how, and anybody that follows you guys probably knows about some of this at least. You've actually had some difficulties at some of these conferences because sometimes these things can get kind of dangerous. And that's not to deter people from going. I mean, I'm going, so so I think it's safe enough. But you've actually had some really strange things, maybe even demonically influenced things. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, it's funny, Josh. When we talked about this off camera earlier, when you truly start to serve the Lord, you get attacked.
Oh yeah,
Amen. Absolutely.
When you really are, when I'm not talking about when you say I believe in Jesus and when you maybe go down to your local church, but when you really get out there and start doing something to elevate the Lord, you get attacked. The first conference, we were attacked. Someone said that someone literally called the Grapevine Police Department and the hotel and said that there would be a drone attack with biological weapons, and that their vision was that they saw people on the floor of the conference withering in pain and dying. Now, this went all the way up to the FBI.
Wow.
And so when we got there, we already hired a large police presence. We had even a bigger police presence, and we had the FBI. But that is just what the enemy does. That is what they do.
Intimidation.
That's right.
It's intimidation. In Knoxville, Tennessee, Anthony Patch was a speaker in Knoxville. And, you know, we have a very, just like you guys have here at this point, we have a very professional setup to do our filming for our live stream feeds and the DVDs. And I was standing up at the booth during that, and everything was fine. I watched the guys do it. I watched them record it. I watched them save the file. Everything was fine. Someone mysteriously put a white package, like a duffel bag, on the stage. 2 minutes later, everything of Anthony Patch's presentation was gone, vanished off of it. Okay, so we had to reschedule Anthony Patch. We went through this. The particular man carrying the white bag came up to me quite mysteriously, and he said, "Mike, what you said on John B. Wells' show is absolutely correct. It's the most truthful thing I heard, which you said." They don't want us to gather because they're afraid we'll hear the truth. He said, "Thanks for saying that, because that's it." And then he was escorted about 15 minutes later out of the building by our policeman.
Oh, wow.
For something else that happened. And we don't know, but it just vanished like that. There were reports of drones overhead and a helicopter, a Black Hawk helicopter flying over the hotel. And the point is, and we don't say any of this to frighten you folks at all. We're not saying this to frighten you.
No,
what we're saying
covered.
to you is we're covered first by God. God is there and protecting these conferences. But what we're saying to you truly is you need to be at this conference. You need to see what these guys are all talking about. Because what you're talking about, Jake, what you're talking about, Josh, what Derek, Sharon, L.A. Marzulli, Pastor Begley, all the other speakers, what they're talking about is the stuff that they don't want you to hear.
Right.
They don't want you folks to hear the things that they're saying out there. And that's important. If they don't want you to hear it, you need to hear it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I think that process of waking up for individuals, for waking up to what's really going on behind the scenes, not crazy conspiracy theory stuff,
Right.
but what is really going on?
Right.
You know,
Right.
what's going on in our government? What's going on with plans of the NW? You know, all these societies,
right.
all the demonic stuff that goes on in our country. It seems like Americans are totally oblivious as Christians
Right.
to the demonic influence in our nation. The Super Bowl
right.
halftime show.
Right.
I'll give you an example. I used to totally think the Super Bowl halftime show was just totally kosher, legit, whatever. People would tell me it's demonic, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. Well, let me tell you, in the last several years, after looking at that thing and seeing some of the other things I've seen, it is absolutely overtly occultic, even more so than normal. It is totally a declaration to glory, basically, to the enemy.
That's right.
There's a lot of darkness in our country that's being exposed even right now.
And I don't think
Absolutely.
this Sunday will be any different. You know, I don't think, you know, it's
Yeah.
This
it's
coming
sad
Super
that we're there, but what you said is also important. You know, you don't hear about this stuff in the church. Nothing against the church, but the pastors have to live by the doctrine of their denomination.
Right.
And they're not going to talk about what you just talked about, the demonic influence. And if you ask them a question about it, it's going to, your answer is going to kind of be like, well, they're not going to really get in it. If you ask Russ Dizdar that question or L.A. Marzulli that question, you'll get the truth.
Yeah, and you won't only get their opinion, you'll get well-researched information,
Exactly.
which
That's
is
right.
so important because, again, there are a lot of, crazy conspiracy theories out there, especially on social media, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. But it's good. That's why I love conferences like this, because it's good to actually have real, true researchers who have information, who can cite their sources, and actually tell people, here's a piece of what's going on. Then the audience can put those pieces together themselves.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Michael Lake is a
Oh, yeah.
wonderful example
Amazing.
of that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this guy, I had heard Michael Lake on some shows and things like that, but when I saw him in Knoxville do his presentation, it just knocked my socks off. It knocked my socks off. And if your viewers, Josh, want to, if they just go to hearthewatchman.com and click our YouTube channel, they can actually see Dr. Michael Lake in Knoxville, Tennessee. I put his video up there.
Oh, cool.
I put a couple others up there. You get the opportunity, get a taste of what you're going to see in Dallas, because it is truly life-changing, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And you're so right with the research. I talked to L.A. Marzulli a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about some stuff, some difficulties that we were having because we were under attack.
Yeah.
And I asked him, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to walk this path? A question I've asked myself. Trust me.
Even more so lately.
Yeah, And he said, well, since I was a little kid, I have always been asking my elders, what's the truth? So you get an opportunity to come up from a man that, as a child like that, was always seeking the truth. So you get the truth seekers, the real truth seekers,
Yes.
and not the conspiracy theorists, not the people that are just
Trying to make a name for themselves
right,
or
or
something.
the doom porn peddlers
Yeah.
or any of that. You get the real deal, and we're blessed to be able to put this on. Blessed to have folks like you, the Skywatch team here. We're so blessed because it allows us to get the word that the Lord wants people to hear to their ears, not just to go out and tickle the ears. Tell them the truth.
Right. Amen.
Right.
So who are some of the other speakers that are going to be here? And do you have any idea yet what they're going to be talking about?
Well, first of all, and we talked to Derek a little bit about this, we want the conference to be so fresh and so pertinent to the time of the conference that we literally are not going to announce the topics until about 4 to 5 weeks prior to the conference.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because the speakers are gathering more data, more information.
Yeah.
And look how much has changed since, last year even.
Oh, yeah.
Last week.
month.
Yeah, no kidding.
So rather than having, cut and dry topics, we really want it to be so pertinent to what God is giving them at that time. But it'll, of course they have to plan ahead because they do amazing PowerPoint presentations, they show video. It's a full, audio-visual presentation in most cases. So, but one thing that we are doing is a couples session where we're going to have Derek and Sharon. We'll have Heidi Begley and Paul Begley, Josh Tolley and his soon-to-be wife, Brittany. We're going to have a panel, and we're going to talk about the important role of husband and wife.
Oh, cool.
And,
Yeah, that's awesome.
like we just talked that you guys work with your wives.
Yes.
And the power of a couple as a Christian couple doing God's work is so crucial to moving forward. And with our new president in office, he's building us a protective time frame where
Yes.
we are not going to be under as much attack, and we have to occupy, and this is the time to do it. This conference is so timely because we're commissioned to do God's work. Not we, but all
Yes.
Christians. And if you're not equipped in the physical realm, and most importantly in the spiritual realm, and don't understand what the new strategies of the elite, of the globalists are, which is changing week by week, depending on, it's like it's a chess match, right?
Chess match,
Right.
And so
As L.A. Marzulli says.
exactly. And so we want it to be really fresh. So stay tuned. Check out the website about 5 weeks prior, and you're going to see some amazing, amazing topics associated with each speaker. And just know that, we do this conference to equip the remnant body of Christ and to grow it. And in growing it, we are, as I like to announce exclusively on your show, that we are giving away 100 free tickets.
Oh, wow.
Those
Wow.
100 free tickets are going to go to clergy
Oh, man.
and to students. Okay,
Awesome.
so if you know any students, university, college students, high school students that want to come to our conference for free, we are going to give away 100 free tickets. In doing so, they just need to go to the website, and Mike is going to build a special spot, and they need to just let us know what school, what their age. They'll have to show ID when they get to the conference to verify. Clergy. Now, there are so many churches now
Right.
that are realizing that they have an opportunity. We don't know if the 501c3 rules are going to change, whereby you can
Right.
talk about politics.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be great?
So you can hear the
Yes.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that pastors have their hands tied behind their back.
Yes.
Well, if nothing else, clergy, come to the conference and learn, and then pray about it, and let God guide you and your conscience as to what you're going to start preaching to your church body. But we need more clergy in the know.
Yeah.
Because
Amen. Absolutely.
as opposed to just learning doing what they do routinely, they need to rip open that box that they're in and really learn the truth, because this opportunity may never come again.
Right.
We don't know if it's going to last months, years, 4 years, 8 years. We don't know. So this conference is going to arm the body of Christ.
Amen.
And we encourage any clergy or students to go to our website, and we'll be posting that in the next few days.
Awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, with about 30 seconds left, just once again, real briefly, where can people get their tickets, and what's the website, all the online info?
Just www.hearthewatchmen.com. You go to that website, you can do your tickets, find all the information out. You can even go and book a room at the hotel directly with the hotel through our website at a discounted rate of $99 per night.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Well, I'm excited about it, and I hope all of you are excited about it too. So come to Hear the Watchman, come meet us. We'll be happy to sit and talk with you for a while. Thank you for joining us into the Multiverse. I, again, am Josh Peck, your host. Until next time, take care and God bless.